and you thought vinyl left. You're listening to the Vinyl Community Podcasts. Everything vinyl.
There is nothing wrong with your turntable. Do not attempt to adjust the audio. We are controlling transmission. For the next few hours, sit quietly, and we will control all that you hear. You are about to participate in a great adventure. You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind to Surface Noise, B-Side Edition.
Welcome, everyone, to the Surface Noise live stream. I am Jason, and we are here. We're exclusive to YouTube today. But we are multicasting over on the Spinz Vinyl channel and on the Concert Buddie channel. And so wherever you are, whenever you are, I'm glad you're here. Welcome. We're going to have a good time tonight. We got some really cool topics. We have a very intimate crew. Let me introduce the intimate crew first. We got Arnaldo that way. What's up, Arnaldo? How's it going?
Hey, how's it going, Jason?
It's going good.
Hello, everybody on the stream. And hello, everyone home or on their cell phones or in the car. I know a lot of people actually tune into live streams while they're driving. So hello to everybody.
Yeah, that's cool. I got this thing that said that from YouTube that said I get X percentage of people watching on a television set. And then I'm like, oh my God, I hope I didn't have any a booger or anything going on that day. And then we got VC Deep Thoughts, Jason Roxas down below. What's up, dude?
Thank you, Jason Spinz Vinyl. I have a little cold, so just bear with me. If I sound rough, well, there you go. It'll be as rough as we can get it.
So you're saying we might get some clicks and pops today?
Well, I'll try to mute myself.
And we're going to try to cheer you up today, man. I appreciate you being here, even under the weather. We got some cool topics to get into today. We got 3 topics in all. We're going to kick it off with the future of physical media and sort of, debating the longevity. The elephant in the room, the topic no one really wants to get honest about, but how long are we going to ride this wave? Predictions going forward for the next decade of vinyl. And I've heard, I may have even done a few videos myself that they're even going to start grading vinyl, and they have started grading vinyl. And so I want to talk about that too and see whether that's something that's going to boost the vinyl community or take it to its knees. We'll find out. And then second topic, what is the second topic? We want to talk about, post-pandemic. Or it started out as being post-pandemic, the vinyl community post-pandemic, but maybe it's even post-record store day. But we can get into that too. And then at the very end for the freestyle, I think we're going to try to show off some records for you guys, and we're going to get into when you're in a certain kind of mood, you got to go to a certain piece of vinyl, and so maybe we'll show off some of that stuff depending on what our moods are. We got Fidelio, what's happening to do? We got John Brady. We got My Own Devices audio channel, June's Music Corner, John Bandy. Thank you everybody for being here. Appreciate you guys. What's up, Wyoming Dave? So let me get it queued up here. Let me get the banner rolling. Boom. Future of physical media. A simple question. Is there a simple answer? What do you guys think? I think, there's all this, maybe CDs are going to come back, or they have started to come back. Are they going to start getting some real traction? Are CDs ever going to go like this while vinyl goes like that? What do you guys think? No?
No, I don't think CDs are coming back.
Okay.
I think they're on a decline.
Really? Why?
Yeah.
Decline. Okay.
Because, there is a
30-year backslide, right?
Right now, I think if you go to the big retailers, like the big box retailers like Walmart, Best Buy, and Target, I think CDs have less physical real estate than vinyl does in those stores.
Yep.
They're both shrinking, and they're only carrying usually frontline, very new releases. But forget about deep catalog. I think Amazon is probably the only retailer that you can go, and if you want a CD from 1985, you'll probably be able to still buy it on there. Otherwise, good luck. I mean, even my Barnes & Noble was kind of like the place where you would go for a deep catalog, and they do still have quite a bit, and most of it is actually mid-price. But yeah, except for the display when you go in, like the end cap, where you have all the new releases, you'll have both formats, CD and vinyl. I find that the vinyl section is growing, is getting bigger, and the CD section is getting smaller. And
is there something about here? I want to let my own devices chime in on this. He's saying, don't agree. The high price of some vinyl makes me choose CD sometimes. So yeah, I mean, if you just want some music, to put some physical media, sometimes vinyl can be there's a barrier to entry sometimes, right? And also, is it more confusing for some listeners that there's all these pressings and stuff? And but it kind of goes both ways, because on the one hand, it's sort of like there's no like CD box sets coming out right now, or special remasters and all this stuff. MoFi, you correct me if I'm wrong, are they producing CDs and stuff like that? So it's kind of like
they're only producing audiophile CDs, just super audio CDs.
Okay.
But to your point, you mentioned box sets. Actually, maybe is the only market where CDs are still keeping pace with the vinyl. So, for example, I'm actually waiting for it to be shipped. David Bowie released not David Bowie, but there was a new David Bowie box set, kind of like a reinterpretation of Ziggy Stardust, a lot of demos and alternate takes and leading up to it, kind of like the chronology of the making of Ziggy Stardust. And they only came out, and I'll show you this, with the a reduced one LP version, and it's called Rock and Roll Star. It's actually really nicely done. As you can see, it's like silver finish.
Yeah.
But the full shebang is the CD format, and it comes with a beautiful book, and I think it has 5 CDs, and even the previous release that they did in the series also had a bigger CD box set than vinyl box set. And I'm looking at that because that's really only going to interest hardcore fans. I mean, I don't know how many times you want to hear demos and alternate takes of pretty much the same 10 or 12 songs. And
when I was younger, I used to love that stuff. Not so much anymore.
Well, I do too. For my favorite artists, I do too.
Yeah.
But I think that producing it on vinyl, one, may be very cost prohibitive. Because if you look at, for example, the Prince box sets, both like the Sign of the Times and the recent one, Diamonds and Pearls, they're like 10 or 12 LP box sets. And they're very, very expensive to produce versus the CD version, which is a lot easier, a lot less headaches if there's mistakes in the production, a lot less disgruntled customers, because on 12 discs vinyl, I mean, I get lucky most of the time where like there's not all 12 of them are perfect, right? Because returning a huge box set is just a headache, and with the CD, you have, unless there's a mastering error on the CD, there's like hardly any returns, and for defective, that is. That's just my view of how the CDs are comparing to the vinyl. Also, because in terms of a novelty thing, I think the newer generation are not really connected, have no history whatsoever with the CD. They were never brought up buying CDs, and they're in the era of streaming, and they'll more likely gravitate towards the vinyl because it's a bigger format. It's more tactile than the CD.
Gotcha. Yeah, the one I want to hear your thoughts, Jason, too. But the one thing I connect with that you said was that I'm sitting here trying to think of the title, but the Zappa album that came out last year, that was supposed to be the sequel to Hot Rats. I forget the title right now. Someone maybe can mention it. but it came out as a double LP. It came out as a 3 CD. And because it was Zappa, I love Zappa. I have everything Zappa and stuff. It was like I felt so cheated that I didn't get that extra record, or even if it took 2 records, all that other material I didn't get. And so I was sort of like, what a bummer, you know? So yeah, just to your point, it's like it's way more cost effective to put out CDs. And like you said, it's got to be, well, I don't know. I don't know who is buying those things. Just real quick too, sorry, Jason, just so we don't get too far behind on the comments, the fact that CD players don't come standard in vehicles. Yeah, it is. And, you know, there's some comments in here about how difficult it is to acquire a CD player right now. Yeah, it's way different, man. They used to be in the cars. It was like the new cassette, right, when they came out, except you could program it. But yeah, we don't have those anymore. Sorry, Jason. I put him off so long, now he's gone.
No, I'm coming back. I'm just saying that I agree with Arnaldo. The next generation, they just don't care. Like, okay. So, because, you know, there isn't like people like, you know, introducing younger generations to vinyl, whatever, that I see on YouTube, basically. Like, I don't see them interested in any CDs or even records, you know? But I mean, there is some CDs, like, I mean, I hate the fact that this, if everyone can see this is the Bob Dylan, the band, the Basement Tapes, complete. The complete. Like, they released the abridged version, I think, on 4 LPs, but not the whole thing. If you want the whole thing, you're either going to stream it. Well, there you go.
Or so you get to hear Bob Dylan in the studio saying things like, hey, man, press record this time.
Right. Or, you know, them having fun. But I mean, at that time, I think before the streaming, you could only get it through this box set. And it has like this wonderful booklet of the pictures and whatnot. And it's great, you know, but I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't have a CD player, you know. I got it for like, I don't know, $30 cheap so I can get the book, you know, and, you know, look through it while I'm listening to the vinyl or streaming it, you know.
Yep.
But
yeah.
But it's a wonderful box set, though. I mean, if you look at this, I mean, we opened this up. It's got 2 packages you see here, one to hold the CDs. You know, let me see here. This is the book. Here's the CDs. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm showing CDs. I mean, this is the death now of this channel. So, Chance, if you're, you know, Concert Buddie, if you're watching, here we go. Showing some CDs.
You're gonna have to
here, I got the tapes from Bob, so don't worry. You know, we'll be making some bootlegs all day. You know? But I mean, the book is very nice. You know, I think if you know, sit through it, you get these pictures of Bob Dylan just chilling out. You know, and then there's actually pictures of the bootlegs, the acetates. It's great. You know,
did that come out in any on vinyl at all?
Yeah, it did, like in an abridged version. I think it was like a 3 LP set or a 4 LP, but I think 3 LP. Didn't include all the songs, so it was like it was a miss, you know?
Okay.
So
yeah, because no matter who you are, if you're a fan of Dylan and you buy the vinyl, someone else is choosing which songs you get to hear. And it's so frustrating, right?
Right. But I mean, luckily, like, this isn't expensive, you know? You can get a good deal from it, you know? So, but.
Do you have a history with CDs, Jason, or was that
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, at the time when I was, like, getting into music and stuff, like, really getting hardcore in the 90s, you know, I'd be going to, like, a used CD store and hanging out there and, you know, listening to CDs and whatnot. I mean, I don't know if you guys did the same, you know?
Totally. The majority of my collection was mostly, and in New York, there were some great secondhand CD stores. And it's not like buying secondhand vinyl. It's like it really has to be trashed, and you can visibly see that something's wrong with the CD. Otherwise, it's like almost 100% going to play exactly as if you just took the wrapper off of it, basically, right? So I never sold, when I started moving on to CDs, I never sold off my vinyl. And now that I'm going back to buying more exclusively vinyl, and I still buy CD sets, don't get me wrong, especially like in cases where the CD box set probably has more than what the vinyl has, or for an artist where I don't want to splurge on a 10 LP box set and the 4 CD box set actually has everything, and I really care about the music first, right? Then the format. But
well, I was going to say that was being my
question. I haven't started selling off, and I probably won't sell my CDs because there's a lot of good music. I have thousands and thousands of CDs. I think probably have more CDs than I do have vinyl. That's how many CDs I have.
Okay.
Yeah, I think probably 3,000 or 3,500. I don't know. I lost count because then I had to downsize them. I took out all the jewel cases. I started putting them in these envelopes that preserve all the artwork, because a lot of those wallets didn't, and you end up losing the tray in the back or the booklet or whatever. So yeah, I'm a hoarder. I'm a hoarder for vinyl, and I'm a hoarder for CDs.
Okay.
You should have said that more like, hi, I'm Arnaldo. I'm a hoarder.
I have a problem.
I'm addicted to physical media.
Right.
I know I can get it for free on Spotify, but hey. No, I joke because obviously I have a decent record collection. I do not have a CD in my collection though, and I did go through all that. Like I sold off. I was the guy that sold all his vinyl in '91. Bought all CDs. Was so stoked that like I get all these extra tracks and remixes, and it was a smaller footprint, and I could listen in my car and all that. But then there was this pull to like vinyl, at all times. But anyway, yeah, I totally get that. I just wonder, like now with streaming being so popular and again affordable, and people have said in the comment section, like, is the younger generation just? And when I start talking about the topic at hand, the future of physical media, will streaming just take over everything at some point? And I guess when will that point be? Is it like our foreseeable future, or I guess the question arises from the fact that we've been kind of on this up and to the right tick with vinyl, and it's surprising. I mean, we've got people more than ever. We've got more reissues and all this stuff. We just had another Black Sabbath we talked about a couple weeks ago and stuff. It's like, how long is that going to go on? Can that just go on indefinitely? Or at some point, like you said, is the generation is just going to go, okay, nah, I'm not buying vinyl. Things that make you go,
Right. I mean, can't predict the future,
Right.
Well, here's the thing: the fact that Taylor Swift will
trending so well right now.
We'll put out 10 different vinyl variants, and really only maybe 2 with different alternate artwork of a CD, right? 2, 3, and that her fans will go out and buy all 10 of the vinyl variants.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's the whole fan thing that you have to have everything that your favorite artist puts out. But I still maintain that the newer generation are more attached to exploring and will be tempted more to buy physical media as vinyl versus CD. That's my take. I don't know, because if you think about it, the majority of the active record buying public, if there is such a thing now, like that are buying physical media, I think is between 14 and 25, maybe 30. Those are really people that stream heavily and also buy physical media, except for, the old geezers like me and some others that will still buy vinyl and CDs.
Got it. One thing what about if I look at I guess the first question would be, is it fair or reasonable to think of a vinyl in a similar category as comic books, sports cards, Pokemon cards? Are they a collectible in that sense? Because I look at my backdrop, Jason's backdrop, all the records are there. That could very easily be comics on another channel or sports cards or something. If that's a reasonable assumption to say that, it's going to become even more and more of a collectible kind of thing, especially for the younger generations. Like you just said, if Taylor Swift is going to drop 10 different variants, which is a comic book and a sports card thing, does it become more like that? And this whole grading thing now that's been starting to get, I don't know if it's getting traction, but they are being graded. They are going up in auctions now. And they're commanding some handsome sums as well. I would love to get your guys' opinion on that, because I know a lot of people are just like, if you're diehard, why are you encapsulating a record? It's meant to be heard, you know, and all of that stuff. But I want to get your guys' thoughts on that. Is it? Do you think there could be even that encapsulating and grading records could maintain a resurgence in the same way that it has with other categories, or is that just out?
I think sports cards. I mean, I have to disagree with Jeff K. Myers. He says sports cards don't do anything. That's not true. I'll find you a picture where one sports card was going over $15,000. Okay, like I know probably limited records that go for that much. You know, unless you're.
Well, I think he was referring to the fact that if you slab a sports card, you see the front and you see the back.
Yeah, you're
not doing anything other than looking at it. You slab a record, you're going to prevent yourself from listening to it because
Concert Buddie. He's telling me, saying, don't talk about this.
Well, I don't know.
Listen, I don't mean to interrupt. They give us 5 minutes to take a leak here at the Rhino warehouse. So I wanted to take 5 minutes and jump in on this hot topic. So sorry to interrupt. I got 5 minutes. They don't even let us use the urinals. We got a PP and the Gatorade bottles. So
you want to trade sports cards for records?
I heard you say sports cards, and now you're talking my language because I bring more to the table than records, even though I don't bring that to the table, according to some of them haters. So
well, hey, let's see that card you got here. I got one right here.
Oh, make yourself big.
Jose Montana, man, he is a
the
hell of a player.
Only one I got.
Where do you play that one?
He was great.
Where do you play that one on? Do you have a specific player to play that?
Yeah, Soundburger. I got a Soundburger. Should I go get the Soundburger?
Oh, the Soundburger. A reason to break it out. All right, Chance. So what do you think, baby? I mean, are we gonna is grading gonna be a thing? Here's the thing, because I understand the sports card is just two-dimensional, right? You can see the front, you see the back, who cares? A comic book is not. A comic book is very much similar to a record in the sense that you got pages that they're locked in there, and then you got to go find yourself a digital source or another copy. Same argument you could make for a record, right? Go listen to it digitally or go get yourself another copy. That's not as collectible. Chance, what say you?
Listen, there's some sage advice, and I hope whoever is going to record this for a parody records it well. Some people like some things, and other people like other things. And I know I'm not a genuine record collector, but I like to play one on YouTube sometimes. And what I mean by that is this. If some people want to take a perfectly good record and slab it like a plastic sandwich, hey, man, that ain't for me to say. I mean, how they spend their money, that's none of my business. Personally, I think you're doing the vinyl gods a disservice if you don't play it now. If you've got that sealed record that's 60 years old, and you guys have heard me talk about this before, I have had terrible luck in old sealed dead stock. Warped, scuffed up. It's not that those are not meant to be played. So in those instances, I really think you need to consider, is this a speculatory situation? And you just slab that sumbitch sideways.
It's okay, Mr. Rhino, if you're holding back on Michael Fremer's sealed comedy records at Rhino, it's okay.
Listen, hey, listen here, COVID kid. After you got that Fremer record, I may or may not have bought about 20 sealed for $13 total.
And it goes to show you got last week. You showed off that psychedelic horse shit record that was sealed, right? And it had ringwear. It already had ringwear on it.
Hang on. I want to break the internet. All right. So what if you had one of these, Concert Buddie, and it was sealed like this one is? You cracking that open? Are you cracking it? Are you going to spin this baby? It's only because of it's the original. It's got the band artwork on the front. You got the hype. It's sealed. Who in their right mind is going to open this just to hear it? You know what I mean?
Listen, it's like I was saying, you run the gamble. I'm going to do here go haters. This is me shaking dice, but you can make it shaking something else. I don't care. Shout out to Davey Strangenate, who has the smallest penis in the vinyl community. But let's get back to the topic at hand.
Oh, I knew. See, I knew as soon as I let Chance on his own channel, man. I was gonna.
Kidding aside. So to answer your question, I would slap that guy, and here's why: slap that guy and slap that guy. It's got all the extras. Because here's the thing: if you're trying to complete it, You've got to get the decals. There's like a couple different little things. And a lot of times if you find the record, it's already going to be a $200 piece just to get the record. And it may not have the extras. So you've got the complete Mac Daddy, 1987. Rip it. Because again, you're getting into that area where it's, man, you're almost on 40 years of being sealed. And if you open that, it may be warped and you're gonna cry a big fat river.
Oh yeah, for sure. So there is this, and this is one of the things too, when I did that series, when I first caught wind of the whole, vinyl grading and stuff like that, was you get a wide range of opinions, right? You got people, there's just no excuse for grading a record. Then you got people that were like, look, there is certain use cases for it, right? And that's kind of where I'm at, I think, with it right now. And I know this, like Chance says, could be a controversial topic, but it's like, the record I just showed, I'm probably going to get that graded or, slabbed, because it's like, it's going to sit on my shelf. Someone's going to pick it. It's going to fall. The dog's going to chew it up. Something's going to happen to that thing, right? And like you said, you're going to be crying. I'm never going to open it. When I die and someone else gets it, they're never going to open it. So it's
just. Can I throw a curveball? I'm going to use a sports analogy. Can I throw a curveball here?
All right, let's do it.
What if?
Let me choke up.
Record, well, no. So there's a record I purchased a while ago that had hazing on it. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like it had been sealed for so long, and they also use those early poly sleeves that the material broke down. So we're talking, this record was in like the 60s. So that material had broken down and created this haze on the record. They're right, the gassing effect. Yeah. I looked on Hoffman. They call it like 6 different things. Point being is that now I tried playing it, and guess what you hear? Whoosh. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. So now in hindsight, boy, I wish I would have kept that sealed. Now, can I still listen to it? Kind of. But you just keep hearing the whoosh, 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 whoosh. So then at that point, what are you going to do with the record? It's not really fun to play. So do you slab it, or do you make it like wall art? Like you can do, you go to Michael's or you go to the framing shop, you can make a nice little piece with it. But in terms of having true return value as a record, as a listenable record, like throw that out, like it's done. You know what I mean? So,
Mr. Rhino,
doesn't matter how long you've been in the game.
You got to use that plastic wrap at the Rhino factory, reseal that record.
Listen, I saw Tom come in and he made that because that resealing is a thing, and he's right about that, because you go to any resale shop.
Jason has the hype sticker. You can't make that one up.
Oh yeah.
Yep. You really have to be sophisticated to make up a.
Well, listen, Jason's a sophisticated guy, so I think he's capable of just about anything.
I'm not that sophisticated. All right. Well, there we go. A lot of beating around the bush, I think. But yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. Either it's going to.
Can I have 10 more minutes? 10 more minutes, boss. 10 more minutes. Those Black Sabbath will ship themselves. Sorry, they're wanting to get me back on the floor wrapping skids.
All right.
So hang on a second.
Got to get those Sabbaths out, man. I heard some people got his. I wonder if David got his yet. I've been seeing on the Facebook and all that stuff that people are starting to get theirs. That
Well, don't tell anybody, but I got mine, and I might have already sold one. Don't tell anybody. I'm not supposed to know about that. It's human resource violation.
Yes, he's a flipper. That's almost as bad as encapsulating records. Well, hook David up. If he doesn't have his, man, we need to get him his. So, all right. How about, so that's the, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here. That is the future of physical media right there. So let's see. I got to learn how to use these. We got another banner. Let's click it up. Boom. There we go. Vinyl industry post-pandemic. And this is a very similar topic, I think, but supply chain issues, rise of direct-to-consumer sales. Is that hurting record stores? Doesn't seem like it. I mean, Chance was here making the West Coast trek, and we hit up 5 stores in a matter of like 3 hours. They're everywhere. And but I'm curious what you guys think. I mean, with supply chain issues, with direct to consumer, it seems like we're still booming. I'm sorry if this whole show, if this whole live stream, I look shocked, but it's just, we wouldn't be having this discussion, 15 years ago. but we're having it now. It's like, so what is that is there a post-pandemic, where do we draw the line? Is there a post-pandemic vinyl world now, or is it a post-record store day? Did that do something? Chance, help us out here, man.
Can I tell you a story?
How long can this go on?
Guys, can I tell you a story? This is part of the reason I want to come up here. I also wanted to round out the day. I was watching, and I saw there was only 3, and I thought I'd make it 4 for a little bit.
Wait,
until they call me back on break.
Concert Buddy, do hamsters work at the Rhino factory? You know, do they?
Gerbils, and I'll let you imagine what that happens. No, here's a row.
Are they the ones that are gnawing at the corners?
Yes. Oh no, no.
Split seams.
Oh no, those ding corners. Yeah, actually, they're the ones packing. They're the ones packing the records. We had to go past child labor, and we had to go to like actual animal labor at this point. No, so here's what I'll say about the post-pandemic stuff, because you've been hearing and been waiting for the bubble to burst. Okay, so I saw something last week. And I don't know if it's a sign of things to come, but I've been waiting for this. So haven't really been hitting that circuit of thrift stores in a while. It's just been dry, right? It's just been a waste of time. I mean, if you want some Barbra Streisand, or you want, maybe once in a while you'll find a sweet Herb Alpert, maybe once in a while. But it's a hard time in them streets. And we went the other day. It's to the point where records is the last thing I'll do in my little circuit at this one particular store. I'll go electronics and then try to find some old concert T-shirts and blah, blah, blah. So make the rounds, and there is an older couple, and they've got a bunch of records. I'm like, oh, they're just loading up. Or maybe they're going to like make those funny bowls, the melted bowls, or make the coasters, like a craft project. And I look in their cart, and there's Taylor Swift 1989, and there's Adele 30, and there's a couple other contemporary albums. So I start looking. I'm curious, so I start looking, and I pull the soundtrack to Clueless and Pitch Perfect 2. So here's why I say that. I know that's a once in a long hair situation, but I'm waiting for the young people who got into records during the pandemic or post-pandemic because it's cool and it looks fun. But then I think and I've been waiting for this, and Arnaldo, you probably feel the same way, or tell me if you don't. The bubble is going to burst on those folks because the inconvenience factor, because this is the generation that cannot be bothered. This is the entitlement generation. And for them, the inconvenience of having to listen to 3 songs or 5 songs and then go and turn something over, there's a lot of deep sighs. So I'm starting to see that story I shared, I think, is the beginning of potentially what we've been waiting for post-pandemic is, are we starting to see people get out of vinyl, particularly the younger people, because you've got 70 different things to stream on, and you've got things like YouTube that are free. So long-winded way of saying, Jason, yes, I think there's a crack in the foundation. Does that mean that prices are going to revert back to $20 a disc like they should? I don't know. I think we may be past that. But I do think the young people, coupled with the cost being cost prohibitive, like a new album costing $40, that's tough. That's tough beats. You know what I mean? It's tough sledding. So I think that there are signs of a resting place, the vinyl resting place for the hobby. That's where I'm at. What do you guys think?
Go for it, Jason or Arnaldo. Jump in.
Vinyl resting place. So are you going to be buried with your Grail record that you had a video on? I'm confused.
I told you I've got 13 sealed Michael Fremer records, and they're going to surround me. Like,
oh, show some respect. Come on, Deep Thought. That was the man's Grail.
I think like there'll be like discount record bins. I don't think it'll go back to the dollar bin per se, depending on what store you go to, but there will be like a discounted where records that were selling for 30 are now for 20 or 17 or something, but it won't go like those won't go like cut out bin, like I don't see that, but I mean, the used will always be the used, that's not going to change,
Hey, follow up, Jason. Do you think that there are too many record stores now?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people and I considered it. It'd be a fun thing to do something you like in your hobby, but there's a lot of new record stores out there, and I don't know if there's all that used inventory to keep them sustainable. I'm already hearing some of my guys are, collections aren't as fruitful as they used to be coming in the doors, right? So I think there's only so much bandwidth of the used records, and people are holding on to them. There's more collectors. People are holding on to some of those good ones, and I don't know. What do you think, Jason?
Well, especially when there's so many stores in a condensed area, right? Because they're going to distribute those records potentially evenly. If there was just one record store or two record stores, then that would be where all the bounty would go, right? Sorry, Jason, go for it.
No. We'll hand it off to Arnaldo. Arnaldo, what do you think?
Arnaldo's got the real insight on this one because he's the man in the biz. So Arnaldo,
he's about to take a deep breath.
I hit us with the true stick. What do you think on this topic?
Well, I know that quantities are coming down when it comes to vinyl.
Sales?
No, in terms of production.
Okay.
Which is a reflection of, we have too many of these other releases that are still sitting in the warehouse that didn't sell through. Mr. Rhino there in the upper right corner.
Yeah, hang on a second. I'll change the urinal cakes. The urinal cakes won't change themselves. I'm sorry. They want me to get back on the break.
By the way, are you using urinal cakes to press these records?
Listen to the Black Sabbath, Jason, and then you decide. What's this white splatter with the blue chunks? I don't know.
I know exactly what that is.
Sorry, Arnaldo. Arnaldo was actually having a serious moment. I'm totally ruined it. Sorry.
Well, I opened the door so for you to comment. Fair enough, when you have Rhino, that is like, okay, shit, we can't sell these through. Now we're going to have to put them through retail. Let's see how that works, right? So I think some reissue labels and the majors as well are starting to rethink, okay, how much of this boom can we ride? I think it'll be smaller, the production of vinyl in terms of production runs, but it won't go away. And I think they're actually starting to wonder, like the people that are making vinyl or these labels are starting to wonder how much can we charge the consumer and how far can we push it, considering the rising costs of manufacturing. That is really an important factor. Yes, the lead times have shrunk a little bit, but from what I understand, paper is still very expensive. I don't know why, but paper is still very expensive. And now, I don't know, maybe the eco vinyl is going to represent the wave of the future where we could reuse other pieces of plastic.
Oh, wow.
Listen, the biggest fallacy out in manufacturing, and I'm gonna put my non-Concert Buddy hat on for a second, is anything eco or sustainable somehow being cheaper. It's not. It's usually more expensive. It's more about storytelling and, being able to hit that check mark of, we're more sustainable. Quality be damned. But it's very rarely cheaper, or else any manufacturing environment would have been doing it a lot sooner. So, but Arnaldo, I want to ask you a follow-up on that. Do you think there's going to be more pressure on either the buyers or basically the decision makers about these runs? Let's use the Black Sabbath for an example. 5,000, probably too low, right? I mean, because they'd sold out in a week. There's people paying 2-3 times MSRP at and the secondary market, and that one probably should have been more. Future releases probably, and some of these past jazz ones probably should have been less. So, do you think there's going to be more pressure from the buying and planning area versus, I guess, in years past?
Well, absolutely, yeah, because there's behind all of these releases, if there isn't, there should be some kind of mini P&L, which tells you how much is it going to cost, how much you think we're going to make, and let's see where we land, where the bottom line is black. Breaking even is not a business. We're not in the business of breaking even. Red is really bad. And when there's too much red, the people that were making those decisions will start to feel the chair, or what is it, the rug being pulled up from underneath them. So, yeah, word to the wise. I mean, I think it happens in every industry, right? Productivity is very important. You produce and you do your you go above and beyond. Now, doing your job is not enough. So you have to go above and beyond, and you will have a future in the company, right? And this is no different. I think some of the reissue labels are starting to wonder, okay, how many times these jazz titles can be reissued?
Oh boy.
Right? And how many reissues can there be? Because people, during the pandemic, let's not forget, people had a lot more disposable income. That contributed to all of the record buying, all of the home upkeep. Well, they were home, and that's why stock for Home Depot was surging, because people were doing their own project.
People are looking for stuff to do, so let me just play a record.
Now that you can go to concerts again, and we know how expensive concerts are, so people that have an outlet in music now are starting to wonder and debate, do I want to spend $200 to go see a show, or do I want to buy $200 worth of records? It depends. Whatever everyone prioritizes, that's up to them. I do both. But I think now that there is that other option to spend money, going on a vacation, going to a ball game, going to a concert, all these other extracurricular activities, social activities that for 2 years we basically didn't have, and we needed to spend our money somehow, right?
So when you say spend $200 on a record, I assume you mean a
bunch of records. Am I going to go buy records? Yes. $200 on one record, that's all. That's another topic. We'll talk about that.
Does it rhyme with Dan Steely?
Just checking. So here, I think this is a shot at you, Chance. Rhino can do whatever they want. They have the privilege of aiming low and then going high if the desire is there.
Listen, John Bandy, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And John Bandy's right. So I appreciate John either insulting or promoting, but fine folks at my second shift job here at Rhino Warehouse.
Oh, man. Concert Buddie. I think John Bandy just became CEO of Rhino. Okay.
Well, here's a little food for thought as an example. Do you guys remember the lovely reissues that Run Out Groove used to do? Where are they now? They were a part of Warner. When the restructuring came around, probably someone started to see, okay, let's see what that arm of the business is doing. How much money did we make there? Is it worth investing people, time, resources, and capital, because you're investing capital in that branch of the business? Yes, no, okay, maybe we need to divert some of the energy somewhere else. And have you noticed how Run Out Groove went down? Then all of a sudden we have Rhino High Fidelity.
Yeah, it's a redistribution of allocation and resources.
They're still the same. I don't know if it's the same people that are involved. I don't think so. But you have within the same company, which is Warner, you have, okay, that maybe didn't work out as much as we wanted to. Let's shift and try and do something totally different. In the even though Run Out Groove was doing audiophile stuff, right? Almost everything was analog, the heavy tip on, really curated releases. I don't know. Maybe it didn't do well. I don't know what led the decision to phase that out and start something new.
Yeah, but to that point, though, I think what the folks at Rhino have kind of exposed in the industry is that you can do, air quotes, audiophile grade production at $40 retail. You got the nice jackets, Jason's favorite guy, Kevin Gray, mastering it. You've got all the bells and whistles that scream audiophile, and then you've got that $40 price tag. Meanwhile, you have the competition, the folks in Chicago, pushing it to $59.99 on a lot of backlog titles that they clearly have the license for, that really people aren't asking for more Miles Davis kind of blue MoFi. Sorry, spoiler alert. No one is asking for that. Also, the guys in Selena, they also push some of the price points up too. And again, their costs are their costs. But Rhino, if anything, and again, I know I work for them here on the side, they're demonstrating that they can make a $40 audiophile grade output for the market. So interesting. I don't think prices are going to come down for those competitors, but I think they've kind of shown there's probably a little bit more pork in those profit margins.
Well, the prices will probably still stay the same until the gerbils, revolt and, PM over there at Rhino, it's got to pay up, pay up more on the dental,
Dental and cheese through the roof. We own it on that one.
That's right.
Well, and to your chance point, it's like the stuff you're talking about. I'm taking a step back now to what we were talking about before, but all of I see there's got to be a crash from all of the people that just got into vinyl during the pandemic. And like you said, young people buying certain kinds of records, and like Walmart and Target and those kinds of stores. How much longer are those retailers going to hang in there? Because
well, Jason, you're already seeing it. Not to cut you off, but go to your local Walmart, go to Target. They're refining that shelf space. Right. I mean, shelf space is at a premium.
It's happening
and
fast,
if you go to Target's a perfect example. Remember, it used to be probably an 8 to 12 foot section, 3 levels deep. Yep. Now it's about a third of that, right? So they still have the hot releases. They still got your T Swifts and stuff, but they've got books. And they've got more media, and they've redesigned their kind of media area. And Walmart's it depends on the Walmart, right? But I think they're doing the same. Speaking of which, have you seen some of these photos online of the bomb squad that Walmart vinyl looks like? Like literally, it looks like somebody just goes through and does the stunting method to all the records and just leave them there. Have you seen those? I mean, it's like crimes against humanity stuff. True story. I should have had some.
But what I do see is how come I see people all the time saying, "Hey, look at my my Walmart haul. I got these for $5 a piece." When I go to my local Walmart and Target, I don't see them for $5. I'm seeing like Purple Rain for $45. What the hell, man?
YMMV. Your miles may vary, Jason. That's what they put on all those things.
I live in the wrong area.
You don't have a discount bin at your Target or your Walmart? No?
Not that I've seen. I mean, but to Chance's point, though, yeah, the vinyl section has been getting smaller and smaller. Yep. All right. Well, I got to look at my notes here. So, who was it that said? So I think maybe it was Mazzy. Somebody saying that and you probably know this too, Chance, is that on the Pacific Northwest, they've got all these record stores and they're filled with people. People are in there shopping away. So, but what's the demographic now? I mean, are we still seeing younger people in there, or is it just, because that's the thing, right? When you start talking about longevity and what's going to happen, I mean, the serious truth is, yes, Rojas is going to die with those records. And we know, but I mean, it's like, at some point, you got to start being responsible and saying, like, what's going to happen to all these people we're talking about before, where a lot of these records, you were saying too, Chance, like, are these going to come back into the community? Is there a time when, and I don't know, this is going to sound redundant, but we got 7 minutes to kill. But is there going to be how long before we do get the dollar bins? You can say, oh, we're not going to see the dollar bins for like stuff like this and that, but aren't we?
They gone.
I mean, who's going to buy those records in 10 years?
Because here's why I say they're gone. Back to that thrift story I was telling you about. That store, that chain's called Savers. Their bare minimum for a Herb Alpert whipped cream or anything, Barbara Streisand, here's Barbara, even rest in peace, Olivia Newton-John. She used to be the queen of the dollar bins. $2.99 is now your thrift bottom barrel price. I think even Goodwill is $1.99. Roached, poached, disgusting vinyl at Goodwill. It's got grandma's ashes on it. $1.99 a piece. So I think the dollar bins are I think they're going to be like a relic, kind of like the jukebox.
I know
McDonald's
stores,
$5 meals.
I know secondhand stores in my area that have their $1.99 bin is gold compared to what I find at thrift stores in the area. Like for $1.99, you will find
where?
New York area, in the New York area and the New York suburbs.
Okay.
You'll find, I don't know, maybe where was I? Yesterday I was actually in New Jersey, and they had, it wasn't $1.99, but for $5 you could find Crosby, Stills, Nash, Deja Vu, for $4.99, $5.99, and those typically, and they were in excellent condition. But I've been to other stores where they were like $1.99, $2.99, maybe. Yeah, maybe the cover was a little torn, but the vinyl was fine.
Or are you always like? It's like Chance was saying earlier. Like, how many people are really thrift storing now for vinyl.
I have never been successful.
I got lucky once. I did a video because someone was sleeping on the job and there was like 30 or 40 really nice records there, and I bought them all for $3 a piece. But that's like a once in a decade. I mean,
I was at a thrift store a few weeks ago, actually 2 or 3 weeks ago, and because it's on the way to getting my haircut, so on the way back, I make a stop and I go through the very small section, and there was nothing except for Barbra Streisand records, right? And classical. Classical is like really hot in thrift stores.
Yeah.
And then
Classical is so hot right now.
Then I see the lady who's pricing stuff, and I see in front of her there's a batch of freshly deposited vinyl. So like, now's the time I can strike. Maybe I'll get lucky. So I asked, I was like, "Are those for sale yet?" And it's like, "No, I was just about to price them, but you can take a look at them if you want." And I looked through them. It was terrible. It was like,
No, they were not terrible. You were going through them. Andy Williams, he's a keeper. Perry Como, Pete Fontaine. You were like, man, these are the best.
Andy Griffith sings. Yeah,
but
killing
the
it.
days of I have to go back to 6 years ago when I would actually find for $2 Sting in the dollar bins, in the thrift store bins. Forgot what else I found. Maybe I found the Steely Dan in there. I mean, those days are gone.
Oh yeah, they're coming back.
Yeah, Michael Tedder's right, and I think I brought this up somewhere else before. They got this horrible thing called shopgoodwill.com that whoever runs Goodwill thought it was a great idea. It started with video games and other collectibles, is that they would instruct the stores, hey, if it looks fun, pull it aside and we're going to throw it up on the website. And then they just auction bid it into the stratosphere. So the days of, you got to Arnaldo, we got to catch somebody slipping. Somebody that's a blue hair, doesn't know Britney Spears from LaToya Jackson, and just, puts it out there. And you may be able to, you may be able to get something good. But I mean, Arnaldo had the perfect recipe. I mean, timing is half of the battle.
I was there with the timing. She didn't even price them yet. Nothing.
Oh, yeah. No, that's the worst.
Heartbreaker.
Who's one of the guests that does regular runs at Savers, like more than once a day?
Oh, so that's my man. The flip side with JC, he goes twice a day.
JC,
He goes in the morning and then in the afternoons, and that's why he finds stuff. Now, it's not like every week he's like, "Here's my latest Killer Savers haul." But when he hits, I mean, it's a law of averages, right? Like, he's going enough, and he's befriended the people, so they know, like, oh, here's Josh, and he seems like a nice guy, and like. I don't know
if you're going to do it, that's the way to do it, yeah.
Yeah, you got to befriend him, and I don't know if he's got like a, set it aside McGillicuddy situation going with him, but if you befriend people after a while, maybe they're like, oh, Josh is coming in later, here's a fresh stack of records, I'll let him look through it before I have to price it. So,
yeah,
hats off to him, because again, hitting the ground is part of the battle.
All right, guys. All right, buddies. All right, crew. All right, audience. We've hit our 1 hour mark. So we need to wrap up the, what do you call it? The podcast version. Sorry, Chance. The podcast. I'm nervous because my boss is here, man.
Get out of here.
Podcast portion of the stream is coming to a close.
And that was another trip around the turntable. Thanks for listening to Vinyl Community Podcasts.